If God has already chosen you, why does recognition take so long? 2 Samuel chapter 5 verses 8 to 12. One of the struggles many believers face is this question: if God has called me, why doesn't anyone see it yet? If this is God's will, why is recognition taking so long? The Bible shows us that God's work often unfolds in stages, not all at once. The life of David is a powerful example of this. David did not move overnight from shepherd to universally recognized king. Instead, God established him progressively, first in God's purpose, then among God's people, and finally even among surrounding nations. By this time, David has already been chosen by God, tested in private, and recognized by Israel. Yet now something new happens. A foreign king acknowledges David's kingship through political alliance and support. Scripture records this not as coincidence, but as confirmation. This shows us an important biblical truth: what God's will establishes in heaven is often recognized on earth gradually. As we walk through David's journey in stages, we learn how God calls before people see, forms before people affirm, establishes before people recognize, and allows recognition to come in His time. Let's look at these stages one by one. 1. God's private choice. 1 Samuel 16 verses 1 and 12 and 13. The Lord said, "I have provided for myself a king." Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him. And the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon David. This is God's decision alone. No one else recognizes David yet. God chooses before people recognize. 2. Recognition by Judah. 2 Samuel 2 verse 4. And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Judah. Now a small community recognizes what God has already done. Still not the whole nation. God's will often becomes visible gradually. 3. Recognition by all Israel. 2 Samuel 5 verses 1 and 3. Then all the tribes of Israel came to David, and they anointed David king over Israel. Now the whole community recognizes David as king. What God declared privately becomes accepted publicly. 4. Recognition through nations. 2 Samuel 5 verses 11 and 12. Hiram king of Tyre sent messengers to David, and David knew that the Lord had established him king over Israel. Now even foreign nations treat David as the legitimate king. This is not covenant recognition, it is political and historical acknowledgement. But Scripture presents it as confirmation of God's establishment. 5. Why does God do it this way? Because God establishes His will before humans see it. Humans recognize gradually as God unfolds it. Even those outside the covenant eventually see what God has done. This is also how God often works in believers' lives. God calls you before others see it. God forms you before others affirm you. God establishes you before others recognize you. And sometimes recognition comes last. So don't be discouraged if God's work in you is not immediately seen.